In the vast darkness of space, the Galactic Empire ruled with an iron fist. For thousands of years, they had conquered countless worlds, bringing them under their control. Their massive ships roamed the galaxy, always searching for new planets to add to their collection. One day, a scout ship stumbled upon a small blue planet in a far corner of the galaxy. The captain of the ship, a tall, green-skinned alien named Zork, looked at the planet with interest. He had never seen anything quite like it before. "Scan the planet," Zork ordered his crew. They quickly obeyed, their six-fingered hands flying over the controls. "Sir, the planet is teeming with life," reported one of the crew members. "There seems to be one dominant species. They call themselves humans." Zork's lips curled into a smile. A new species to conquer. The Emperor would be pleased. "What level of technology do they have?" Zork asked. The crew member checked the readings again. "Very primitive, sir. They have only recently discovered space travel, and their weapons are laughably simple." Zork chuckled. This would be easy. The humans wouldn't stand a chance against the might of the Galactic Empire. "Send a report back to the homeworld," Zork commanded. "Tell them we found a new planet ripe for conquest." As the message was sent across the stars, life on Earth continued as normal. Humans went about their daily lives, unaware of the danger that lurked just beyond their atmosphere. In the Grand Palace of the Galactic Empire, Emperor Xan received the news with great excitement. He called for his top generals and advisors to discuss this new opportunity. "A new planet, you say?" Emperor Xan's voice boomed across the Grand Hall. "And the inhabitants are primitive?" "Yes, Your Highness," replied General Kraz, a battle-hardened warrior with scars across his face. "According to the scout report, they should fall easily to our might." Emperor Xan leaned back in his throne, a wicked grin spreading across his face. "Excellent. Prepare the invasion force. We shall add these humans to our empire." The palace buzzed with activity as preparations began. Ships were readied, weapons were loaded, and soldiers were briefed on their new target. Meanwhile, on Earth, a young astronomer named Sarah peered through her telescope. She gasped as she saw something strange moving among the stars. "That can't be right," she muttered to herself. Sarah checked her calculations again and again, but the result was always the same. Something big was heading towards Earth. Sarah rushed to tell their superiors, but they dismissed her concerns. "It's probably just a comet or an asteroid," they said. "Nothing to worry about." But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She continued to watch the skies, growing more worried with each passing day. In the depths of space, the Galactic Empire's invasion force approached Earth. Thousands of ships, each carrying hundreds of soldiers, moved silently through the void. They were confident in their victory, sure that these primitive humans would be no match for their advanced technology. General Kraz stood on the bridge of the lead ship, looking at the blue planet growing larger in the view screen. "Prepare for conquest," he ordered. "Show no mercy to these primitives." The soldiers cheered, ready for an easy victory. They had conquered countless worlds before, and this one would be no different. Or so they thought. As the invasion force entered the solar system, they remained undetected by Earth's primitive sensors. The humans continued their lives, oblivious to the approaching danger. Sarah, however, grew more frantic. She had finally convinced a few of her colleagues to look at her data. They too saw the strange movements in space, but couldn't explain them. "We need to warn someone," Sarah insisted. "This could be a threat to Earth." But her warnings fell on deaf ears. The governments of the world were too busy with their own problems to listen to the concerns of a young astronomer. Little did they know, their world was about to change forever. The Galactic Empire was coming, and they thought Earth would be an easy conquest. How wrong they were. The Empire had no idea what they were getting into. They should have studied their prey more carefully. They should have been more cautious. They should have fled. But now it was too late. The invasion of Earth was about to begin, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The Galactic Empire's first war against humans was about to start, and it would shake the foundations of the galaxy itself. The Imperial scouts arrived on Earth under the cover of darkness. Their sleek silver ships slipped through the atmosphere undetected, landing in a remote forest far from human cities. Captain Zork led the small team of 5 aliens, each equipped with advanced technology and a sense of superiority. "Remember," Zork whispered to his team, "these humans are primitive. Our mission is to observe and report back. No unnecessary contact." The aliens moved silently through the woods, their eyes glowing in the moonlight. They marveled at the lush vegetation, so different from their own barren homeworld. As they walked, they came across a small cabin. Inside, a grizzled old man named Jack sat by the fireplace, cleaning his hunting rifle. He heard a twig snap outside and froze. Years of hunting had sharpened his senses. Something wasn't right. Jack grabbed his rifle and peered out the window. His eyes widened as he saw 5 strange figures moving in the shadows. Without hesitation, he fired a warning shot into the air. The aliens panicked. They had not expected resistance. Zork barked orders in their alien language, and the team scattered into the woods. The commotion attracted attention. Soon, local police arrived at Jack's cabin. As Jack described the strange creatures he'd seen, the officers exchanged skeptical glances, but they couldn't ignore the unusual footprints left behind by the aliens. News of the incident spread quickly. Within hours, social media was buzzing with theories about alien visitors. The government tried to dismiss the claims, but more sightings were reported across the globe. In a secret military base, General Rodriguez received reports of the incidents. She frowned, looking at the blurry photos and eyewitness accounts. "This is no hoax," she muttered. "We're dealing with something real here." Meanwhile, Zork and his team regrouped in their hidden ship. "This was unexpected," Zork admitted. "These humans are more alert than we thought." One of his team members, Yix, spoke up. "Captain, I managed to hack into their primitive information network. They call it the Internet. It's chaos out there. Humans are panicking, but their leaders are trying to keep things quiet." Zork nodded. "Good. We can use this confusion to our advantage. Prepare for more reconnaissance missions." As the aliens plotted their next move, humanity was slowly waking up to the reality of extraterrestrial life. In New York, a teenager named Mike captured a clear video of an alien ship hovering over Central Park. The footage went viral within minutes. Governments around the world could no longer deny the truth. Emergency meetings were called. Military forces were put on high alert. The United Nations convened a special session to address the alien presence. Sarah, the astronomer who had first noticed the anomalies, was suddenly in high demand. She found herself briefing top officials on her observations. "They've been watching us for weeks," she explained. "This isn't a random visit. They're planning something." Back in space, Emperor Xan received Zork's report with growing anger. "How dare these primitives resist?" he roared. "Prepare the invasion fleet. We'll crush them with our full might." On Earth, humans were proving more resourceful than the aliens had anticipated. A group of hackers managed to intercept alien communications. Though they couldn't understand the language, they could track the signals. General Rodriguez stood in front of a room full of world leaders. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said gravely, "we have confirmation. This is not a peaceful visit. We are facing an imminent invasion." The room erupted into chaos. Some leaders called for immediate military action. Others suggested attempting communication. A few even proposed surrender. As the debate raged on, Zork and his team continued their covert operations. They were impressed by human resilience, but still confident in their superiority. "These humans are clever," Zork admitted to his team. "But they're no match for the Empire." Little did Zork know, humans were full of surprises. In labs across the world, scientists were already studying the alien technology from crashed scout ships. Engineers were adapting human weapons to combat the alien threat. The stage was set for a conflict unlike any the galaxy had seen before. The Galactic Empire thought they were dealing with easy prey, but humans were about to show them just how wrong they were. As both sides prepared for the coming storm, one thing was clear: the first contact between humans and a galactic empire had gone terribly wrong, and the real battle was just beginning. The sky turned dark as thousands of alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. The Galactic Empire had launched its full-scale invasion. Cities around the world watched in horror as massive warships loomed overhead, blocking out the sun. In New York, panic spread through the streets. People ran for shelter as the first shots were fired. Alien weapons tore through buildings like paper, leaving destruction in their wake. Meanwhile, in a secret bunker deep beneath Washington, D.C., world leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. The room was tense as they faced the greatest threat humanity had ever known. "We need to unite," declared the U.S. President, her voice firm despite the fear in her eyes. "This is no longer about individual nations. This is about the survival of our species." For the first time in history, countries set aside their differences. A global alliance was formed in a matter of hours. Military forces from around the world joined together under a single command. General Rodriguez stood at the head of the war room, directing Earth's defenses. "We've been preparing for this," she said to her international team. "It's time to show these aliens what humans are made of." As the alien forces pushed forward, they were met with unexpected resistance. Human fighter jets engaged in dogfights with alien crafts, proving more agile than the invaders had anticipated. In London, the aliens found themselves trapped in a maze of narrow streets. British troops, joined by civilians armed with whatever weapons they could find, fought back fiercely. The aliens were forced to retreat, leaving behind damaged ships and tech. Scientists worked around the clock to understand the alien technology. In a lab in Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka made a breakthrough. "They're shields," he exclaimed to his team. "They're vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses." The news spread quickly. Around the world, humans began to adapt their weapons. EMP devices were hastily constructed and deployed. In orbit, Emperor Xan watched the battle unfold with growing frustration. "How are these primitives resisting us?" he demanded. His generals had no good answers. Back on Earth, the tide was slowly turning. In Rio de Janeiro, a group of hackers managed to break into the alien communication system. They couldn't understand the language, but they could disrupt it. Suddenly, the alien forces found themselves in chaos, unable to coordinate their attacks. The Empire's ground troops pushed into the heart of Europe. They expected an easy victory, but instead found themselves facing the United European Army. Tanks rolled through the streets of Paris, engaging alien walkers in fierce battles. In Moscow, Russian scientists unveiled a secret weapon, a prototype plasma cannon reverse-engineered from recovered alien tech. As it fired its first shot, taking down an alien ship over Red Square, a cheer went up from the defenders. The alien invaders were shocked. How had these humans developed such weapons so quickly? What they didn't know was that Earth's governments had been preparing for this day for years, ever since the first hints of alien life were discovered. In Africa, the aliens found the terrain working against them. Their heavy machines sank in the Sahara's sand, and the dense jungles provided perfect cover for human guerrilla tactics. Australian special forces performed daring raids on alien bases, using the vast outback to disappear before the aliens could retaliate. As the battles raged on, stories of human bravery spread. In Canada, a small town held off an alien attack for days using nothing but hunting rifles and improvised traps. In India, millions of people formed human chains to move supplies and support the troops. The alien soldiers began to whisper among themselves. These humans were unlike any species they had encountered before. They were adaptable, creative, and incredibly stubborn. Emperor Xan was furious. What should have been an easy conquest was turning into a costly war. He ordered more ships, more troops. "We will crush these humans," he declared. no matter the cost. But humans weren't about to give up. In labs, factories, and military bases around the world, they were preparing surprises for the invaders. The Galactic Empire had started this war, thinking Earth would be an easy target. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Humanity was fighting for its very existence, and they would show the galaxy why you should never underestimate the human spirit. As the sun set on another day of fierce fighting, both sides knew one thing. This war was far from over. The Empire had struck hard, but Earth was striking back, and the greatest battles were yet to come. As the war raged on, humans began to show their true strength, not in brute force, but in cleverness and adaptability. The alien invaders, so sure of their superiority, found themselves constantly surprised by human ingenuity. In the ruins of Chicago, a group of teenagers discovered a weakness in the alien foot soldiers' armor. They found that simple water balloons filled with paint could blind the aliens' visors. Soon, resistance groups across the globe were using this tactic, turning children's toys into effective weapons. Meanwhile, in the mountains of Switzerland, a team of hackers led by a young woman named Lena had set up a secret base. Day and night, they worked to crack the alien communication codes. After weeks of tireless effort, they finally broke through. "We did it," Lena shouted, her eyes wide with excitement. "We can understand their transmissions now." This breakthrough changed the course of the war. Human forces could now anticipate alien attacks and set up ambushes. The invaders found their once perfect coordination falling apart. In Japan, scientists made another crucial discovery. They found a way to interfere with the aliens' anti-gravity technology. Suddenly, the imposing alien walkers that had terrorized cities became easy targets, crashing to the ground when hit with the right frequency. General Rodriguez smiled as she received the news. "Spread this information to all our allies," she ordered. "It's time we level the playing field." The alien command was baffled. How were these primitives adapting so quickly? They had conquered worlds far more advanced than Earth with ease. Yet here, every victory was met with two setbacks. In Africa, local tribes used their knowledge of the land to lure alien patrols into deadly traps. The dense jungles and vast deserts became graveyards for the invaders' high-tech equipment. Even in occupied territories, humans refused to submit. In New York, now under alien control, an underground network emerged. Led by a former subway worker named Mike, they used the city's vast tunnel system to sabotage alien operations and rescue human prisoners. "They may have taken our streets," Mike told his fellow resistance fighters, "but this city's heart beats underground, and it beats for freedom." The alien soldiers, used to easy conquests and cowering populations, found themselves jumping at shadows. Every human they saw could be a potential threat. Paranoia spread through their ranks. In orbit, Emperor Xon raged at his generals. "How can you be losing to these savages?" he roared. "They don't even have space travel." But space travel was exactly what humans were working on. In a hidden facility deep in the Mojave Desert, the best minds from NASA, ESA, and other space agencies around the world were reverse engineering captured alien craft. Dr. Sarah Chen, the lead scientist, looked at her team with determination. "We're close," she said, gesturing to the half-built ship behind her. "A few more weeks, and we'll be able to take the fight to them." The news of these advancements spread hope among the human population. People who had been hiding in fear began to emerge, ready to join the fight. Every liberated city, every downed alien ship added to humanity's resolve. In London, now a front line in the war, British soldiers fought alongside French, German, and Polish troops. They used the city's famous underground stations as bunkers, emerging to strike at alien patrols before disappearing back into the tunnels. Captain James Harper of the Royal Marines watched as his diverse team prepared for another raid. "They thought they could divide us," he said to his second-in-command. "Instead, they've united humanity like never before." As the sun set on another day of battle, The alien invaders found themselves in an unfamiliar position. Doubt. They had come expecting an easy victory, but found a species that refused to break. Human cunning had turned the tide of war. The advanced alien technology, once so overwhelming, was being countered by human creativity and determination. Captured weapons were turned against their former owners. Alien tactics were studied and improved upon. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake. They had judged humanity by its technology, not its spirit. Now, as their invasion faltered, they began to realize the truth. They hadn't found an easy conquest. They had awakened a sleeping giant, and humanity was about to show the galaxy why it should never be underestimated. The world watched in awe as the first human-made spacecraft, built with reverse-engineered alien technology, rose from its secret base in the Arizona desert. Named Phoenix, the ship symbolized humanity's rebirth from the ashes of invasion. Dr. Sarah Chen stood proudly beside General Rodriguez as the ship took off. "It's not just a ship," Sarah explained, her eyes shining. "It's hope made real." In orbit, alien commanders stared in disbelief. How had these primitives managed this so quickly? The Empire's technological advantage was slipping away. Meanwhile, on the ground, human forces launched a coordinated global counterattack. In Europe, a joint task force pushed the aliens back from Paris. The Eiffel Tower, once used as an alien communication relay, was reclaimed in a daring raid led by French and German special forces. For Earth, the soldiers cried as they raised the UN flag atop the tower. The image was broadcast worldwide, becoming a rallying cry for resistance everywhere. In Asia, a coalition of Chinese, Japanese, and Korean troops employed guerrilla tactics in the sprawling megacities. They used their intimate knowledge of the urban landscape to outmaneuver the alien forces, who found their advanced sensors confused by the dense architecture. Captain Lai Wei of the Chinese army grinned as he watched another alien patrol fall into their trap. "They may have the stars," he said to his team, "but these streets, they're ours." The alien Emperor Xan was furious. He had expected a quick victory, not this prolonged and increasingly costly war. In a fit of rage, he ordered the use of the Empire's most devastating weapons. But humanity had prepared for this too. Thanks to the decoded alien transmissions, Earth's defenders knew the attack was coming. As the alien doomsday weapons descended, they were met with a network of advanced shield generators, built by combining human and alien tech. The shields held. Cities that should have been vaporized stood strong. And in that moment, the aliens realized a terrible truth. They were losing. Humanity's new spacecraft, Phoenix, proved to be a game-changer. It led daring raids on alien supply lines, cutting off reinforcements and resources. Human pilots, trained in simulators built from alien data, outflew their enemies in dogfights above the Earth. Commander Zara Malik, leader of the Phoenix Squadron, addressed her pilots before a crucial mission. "Today, we take the fight to them," she said, her voice steady. "Today, we show them that the stars belong to us all." On the ground, liberated alien tech allowed human forces to push back the invaders more effectively. Captured walkers, now piloted by humans, stormed alien strongholds. Energy weapons, once turned against Earth's cities, now defended them. In Africa, a Pan-African coalition used the continent's vast resources in clever ways. They lured alien ships over the Sahara, where concentrated solar arrays overheated and disabled them. In the Congo, engineered plants rapidly grew to entangle and immobilize alien ground forces. Dr. Kwame Osei, the botanist behind this innovation, smiled as he watched the alien troops struggle against the fast-growing vines. They thought nature was on their side, he mused. They forgot whose planet this is. The tide of war had truly turned. Human victories, once rare and costly, became common. Alien-occupied territories were liberated one by one. The invaders found themselves pushed back, retreating to their ever-shrinking strongholds. In orbit, the alien fleet was in disarray. Human ships, once easy prey, now posed a serious threat. The Empire's mighty warships, designed for grand space battles, struggled against the swarm tactics of Earth's smaller, more agile craft. Admiral Xar, leader of the alien fleet, watched in horror as another of his ships fell to human attackers. "Impossible," he muttered. "How can this be happening?" But it was happening. Humanity, once on the brink of defeat, was now pushing its invaders back. The Galactic Empire, in all its millennia of conquest, had never faced a species like humans before. As news of victories spread, hope blossomed across the Earth. People emerged from shelters, ready to rebuild. The war wasn't over, but for the first time, humans could see a path to victory. In his war room, Emperor Xon faced a decision he'd never imagined he'd have to make. Should he commit more forces to this unexpectedly difficult conquest, or was it time to cut his losses and retreat? As he pondered, one thing became clear. The Empire's first war against humans was not going as planned, and humanity was just getting started. The once mighty Galactic Empire found itself in an unfamiliar position, running away. Earth's forces, now equipped with reverse-engineered alien technology, pushed the invaders back on all fronts. The human spirit, combined with their newfound technological prowess, proved to be an unstoppable force. In orbit, the Phoenix led a fleet of Earth's ships in a daring assault on the alien command vessel. Commander Zara Malik's voice crackled over the comm system. "All ships, engage." For Earth. The space around Earth lit up with energy weapons and explosions. Human pilots, once limited to their planet's atmosphere, now danced between stars, outmaneuvering their alien counterparts. On the alien command ship, Admiral Xar watched in horror as his fleet crumbled. "Impossible," he muttered, his alien features twisted in disbelief. "Retreat. All ships, retreat." The sight of alien ships fleeing Earth's orbit was broadcast across the planet. Cheers erupted from every corner of the globe. Humanity had not just defended their home. They had defeated an enemy that had conquered countless worlds. But Earth's leaders knew the war wasn't over yet. General Rodriguez addressed the United Earth Council, her face stern but hopeful. "We've won this battle, but the Empire still threatens us. It's time we take the fight to them." The decision was unanimous. Earth would not wait for the Empire to return. Instead, they would strike at the heart of alien power. As Earth prepared its counterattack, news of the Empire's defeat spread across the galaxy. On planets long conquered by the Empire, whispers of rebellion began to grow. The humans had done the impossible. They had beaten the unbeatable foe. On a distant world called Zolar, a resistance leader named Crix gathered his people. "Look," he cried, pointing to a hologram of Earth's victory. "If the humans can do it, so can we." Similar scenes play out across the Empire's vast territory. Species that had lived under the Empire's boot for generations began to rise up. The Empire, once focused solely on conquering Earth, now found itself fighting fires on multiple fronts. Back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen put the finishing touches on humanity's secret weapon. "We call it the Liberty Drive," she explained to the Earth Council. "It will allow our ships to travel faster than the Empire ever thought possible." Within weeks, Earth launched its first deep space mission. A fleet of ships, led by the newly christened ESS Freedom, jumped into hyperspace, destination, the Empire's homeworld. Emperor Xon received the news of Earth's approach with rage and fear. "Impossible," he roared, his tentacles writhing in agitation. How could these primitives have developed such technology so quickly? But the Emperor's advisors had no answers. The impossible had become possible, and the Empire was not prepared. As Earth's fleet arrived at the Empire's home system, they found a surprising sight. The Imperial defenses were in chaos. News of Earth's resistance had sparked rebellions throughout the Empire, and many of their ships had been called away to quell these uprisings. Commander Zara Malik's voice was steady as she gave the order. "All ships, engage. Let's end this war." The battle for the Empire's capital was fierce but short. Earth's ships, empowered by the Liberty Drive and crewed by veterans of the Earth Campaign, quickly overwhelmed the remaining Imperial defenses. On the surface of the alien world, human troops landed, joined by rebels from a dozen different species. They stormed the Imperial Palace, fighting their way through dwindling resistance. In his throne room, Emperor Xan found himself cornered. General Rodriguez, leading the assault herself, stood before him. "Your reign of terror is over," she declared. "The free peoples of the galaxy will decide your fate." As news of the Emperor's capture spread, the remaining Imperial forces laid down their arms. Across the galaxy, jubilant celebrations broke out on countless worlds. Back on Earth, people poured into the streets. Humanity had not only saved itself, but had liberated an entire galaxy. They had gone from an unknown species to the champions of freedom in less than a year. As the dust settled, Earth's leaders knew their work was just beginning. They had a galaxy to rebuild, allies to meet, and a new era of peace to forge. The Galactic Empire's first war against humans had ended in a way no one could have predicted. They came expecting easy prey, but instead found the fiercest defenders the galaxy had ever seen. The Empire had made one crucial mistake. They should have fled when they had the chance. The fall of the Galactic Empire sent shockwaves across the universe. Planets that had known only oppression for millennia suddenly found themselves free. In the power vacuum left by the Empire's collapse, a new order began to emerge, with Earth at its center. On the steps of the United Nations building in New York, now rebuilt after the invasion, world leaders gathered to address a crowd that stretched as far as the eye could see. The UN Secretary General, a tall woman named Amara Okoro, stepped up to the microphone. "Today," she said, her voice echoing across the square, "we don't just celebrate our victory. We celebrate the dawn of a new era for Earth and for the entire galaxy." The crowd erupted in cheers. Humans from every corner of the globe stood side by side with aliens from newly liberated worlds. The sight of so many different species united in peace was something the galaxy had never seen before. In orbit, the ESS Freedom docked with Earth's first space station. Commander Zura Malik stepped onto the station, greeted by a delegation of alien diplomats. "Welcome to Earth space," she said with a smile. "We have much to discuss." The following weeks saw a flurry of diplomatic activity. Earth became a buzzing hub of interstellar politics. Alien ambassadors arrived daily, eager to establish relations with the planet that had overthrown the Empire. Dr. Sarah Chen found herself leading Earth's new Galactic Research Initiative. "We have so much to learn," she told her team, excitement shining in her eyes. "And so much to share." Across the galaxy, planets began to rebuild. Earth sent aid missions to worlds devastated by Imperial rule. Human doctors worked alongside alien healers, while Earth's engineers helped restore alien cities. On the desert planet of Zolar, Crix watched as human volunteers helped his people rebuild their ancient capital. "I never thought I'd see this day," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you, Earth." But not all was peaceful. Remnants of the Empire's forces, unwilling to accept defeat, turned to piracy and terrorism. Earth found itself taking on a new role, galactic peacekeeper. General Rodriguez, now head of Earth's new Galactic Defense Force, addressed her troops before their first peacekeeping mission. "We fought for our freedom," she said firmly. "Now we fight for the freedom of others." As Earth's influence grew, so did its responsibilities. The planet that had once been isolated in the cosmos now stood at the center of a vast network of alliances and trade routes. In classrooms around the world, children learned about alien cultures alongside human history. In hospitals, human and alien doctors exchanged knowledge, making breakthroughs that benefited all species. But Earth's leaders didn't forget the lessons of the war. "We must remain vigilant," President Chen told the Global Senate. "Our strength lies in our unity and our spirit. We must never lose that." To ensure they would never again be caught unprepared, Earth established a network of early warning systems throughout the galaxy. The Phoenix, once a symbol of Earth's resistance, now led missions of exploration, pushing the boundaries of known space. 5 years after the Empire's fall, Earth hosted the first Galactic Congress. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered to discuss the future of their shared universe. As Amara Okoro opened the Congress, she looked out at the assembled delegates, a rainbow of different species, all united in their desire for peace and progress. Today, she said, we take the first step towards a truly united galaxy. The former Emperor Xon, now a prisoner on a remote planet, watched the broadcast of the Congress with bitter resignation. We should have fled, he muttered to himself. We never stood a chance. Back on Earth, in a small park in what was once a battleground, a young human child played with a young alien, neither aware of how impossible such a scene would have been just a few years ago. Nearby, an old veteran watched them with a smile. He had fought in the war, had seen the worst of the invasion. But now, seeing the future playing out before him, he felt hope. Earth had not just survived, it had thrived. From an unknown backwater planet to the heart of a new galactic civilization, humanity had proven itself to be more than anyone, including themselves, had ever imagined. As the sun set on another day in this new era, one thing was clear. The galaxy would never be the same again. And Earth, once the underdog, now stood as a beacon of hope for all species, a shining example of what could be achieved when people united against impossible odds. The Galactic Empire's first war against humans had changed everything, and the universe was all the better for it.